Good morning, third grade online learners. Actually, it's the afternoon, and welcome to Mr. Monzo's science class. Welcome back. I am back. We're all back for another week of learning. We are here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we are off Friday. Okay, so our topic in third grade is animal life cycles, and this is what it looks like in our book. Okay, so in our book, on page A76, it says different animals have different life cycles, but they are all born, they grow up, they reproduce, which means they make other little animals, and then they die. Also known as the circle of life. And it's somewhat sad when you get to the end of the circle of life, but the happy part of that is you have babies, and then they have families, and they have babies, and generations of animals, people, whatever, go on forever. Unless you become extinct, like the dinosaurs. But we do everything we can in today's world to make sure that does not happen. Okay, we want people and animals and insects to be part of the life cycle of being born, growing up, making babies of their own, and then when they're too old to sustain life, they die, but their families continue on and on. An example is a monarch butterfly, guys. A monarch butterfly starts life maybe in Canada. And its goal is to get to Mexico. And it's got to go through the whole United States. That monarch that starts the journey is not the monarch that ends up in Mexico. It's going to be his great-great-grandchild butterfly. So just checking the time, everything's working good. Sometimes the video freezes, so I have to make sure the time is still ticking. Um, let's say you're in Mexico and you know you're in Canada and you're a monarch butterfly and you know it's going to get cold. You're going to die because the snow's going to come and you can't survive that weather. So instinct tells you to head out of Canada, go clear across the United States, and there's a special place in Mexico, and you can stay there, and it's nice and warm in Mexico. But like I said, that butterfly that starts off in Canada does not make it to Mexico. Its great-grandchild makes it to Mexico. Lydia.
Say you were like a monarch butterfly and you die. Would you make babies and then they start flying?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yep.
They
So,
just land on the ground
well,
you're flying.
on page A76, it shows you that the butterfly starts off as an adult butterfly and comes out of a case called a chrysalis. The adult female butterfly lays an egg on a leaf. A larva called a caterpillar hatches from the egg, and then the caterpillar becomes a pupa and makes a case called a chrysalis, and it starts all over again. Circle of life. So when that monarch butterfly starts in Canada and it wants to get to the warmer weather, it's never going to make it unless you put it on an airplane and fly it there. Okay, but if it's up to him to make it, that male or female butterfly will not make it there, but their great grandbabies will. And then it gets too hot in Mexico. And so guess what? They want to go back to Canada where it's a little bit cooler. And they start the journey all over again.
Going back and forth.
Yep, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And along the way, they have to have plants to feed on called milkweed plants. And they grow on the side of the road, they grow in the woods, and the butterflies feed on them on the way there. So one of the things we have to do is protect the milkweed plants. And once you learn what it looks like, guys, you'll probably see them on the side of the road, especially if you see a monarch butterfly on there. You'll be like, oh, he must be feeding on milkweed. Lydia.
Does a milkweed plant have little circles on it?
I don't believe so. I know it has green leaves, and I don't see any pictures in our book. We could look it up. I actually might show a video on this later in the week, and you can see what a milkweed plant. You probably pass them all the time, don't even notice them.
I have.
All right, let me read a little bit from our book, and then I'll take questions and comments. Life cycles of insects. Animals follow similar stages in their life cycles. They are born, grow, reproduce, and die. But butterflies and most other insects change more than many other animals do. The first stage in the life cycle of most insects is the egg. So that's an important thing to remember for the quiz. Most insects, their life starts as an egg. The second stage is a worm-like stage called the larva. That's another important thing to remember for the quiz. The third stage is called the pupa, P-U-P-A. That's another important thing. During the pupa stage, the butterfly changes into an adult. Butterflies form a case called a chrysalis. Another important thing. All these words are in yellow because they're vocabulary words and they're important for the quiz. The fourth stage is called the adult. The life cycle starts over again when the adult female butterfly lays eggs. Checking the time and it's still ticking away. Okay, good. So life cycle of a butterfly, egg, the adult female butterfly lays an egg on a leaf. Larva, a larva called a caterpillar hatches from the egg. Pupa, the caterpillar becomes a pupa and makes a case called a chrysalis. Adult, an adult butterfly comes out of the chrysalis. And guys, a lot of people say, where does this start? What starts it? The egg? We're saying yes. Scientists are saying yes, the egg starts it. But some other people might say, well, who laid the egg? Go ahead, Ethan. We got a couple kids walking in a little bit late. So it's not important to say, when the first butterfly was created, was there an egg? Okay, who laid the egg? That's like what came first, the chicken or the egg. Same thing with a butterfly. It's got to start somewhere, guys. So we're going to say the first stage is the egg. Okay? Put your feet down off the desk, please. And be careful that you don't dump your computer onto the floor, Lydia. Thank you. Gravity is not your friend when your computer is on the desk. Please sit up straight. Thank you. Okay. Now, tomorrow we're going to get into life cycles of amphibians and reptiles. And guys, this is pretty neat, especially the frog. I had a tadpole, and I hope I remember to talk about this tadpole tomorrow, but I had a really neat aquarium. It had half water, half land, and there was a volcano with water coming out of it. So when the tadpoles turned into frogs, they hopped up on the land, and they lived life as a frog. My frog, remind me tomorrow, he was a tadpole, he became a frog, and then he had a problem. He went into the volcano. Now, there was not lava coming out of the volcano. There was water. But I want you to remember, he spent the first half of his life underwater. And that water became a problem for him during his life cycle, the last part of his life cycle. Remind me to tell you the ending of the story.
He dies.
I'm not going to say. Maybe it's a happy ending, maybe it isn't.
It isn't.
But you noticed I don't have the aquarium with the volcano anymore. I have it at home in my attic. Much to my wife's dismay, she does not like all the things I keep at home. But I will tell you that its life cycle possibly was interrupted. Possibly. But here's the good thing about tadpoles, guys. When they're born, there's millions of them. They're not all supposed to turn into frogs. They're supposed to be fish food for other fish. Some of them turn into frogs, others are fish food. You can't be a tadpole and go down to Giant Eagle and get your food. You got to eat what's around you, and so do the fish. Okay, so sometimes fish eggs are meant to be fish food. Tomorrow, the ending of the tadpole who became a frog. Does he make it?
No,
Dun, dun, dun.
maybe he does.
See you tomorrow.